Being nice is low vibration, is the theme for today's video. Being nice is low vibration. I've got to talk about this because it's just so common that people learn about manifestation and the law of attraction and they believe they got to be nice. They got to just do everything right, always be loving and kind and generous. And that's going to mean they're going to have a high vibration and attract really great stuff. This is incorrect. Okay. Being nice, the act of being nice is always low vibrational. And I'm going to prove it to you in today's video. So as you're coming in, make sure to like the video. And if you have any questions about manifesting or about this topic, feel free to go ahead and drop them in the live because I'll be answering some of those as we go through, as usual. But again, the topic is being nice is low vibration. Thank you, Cowlitz Bill, for letting me know you can hear the sound. Thank you, Cheryl Ann. You guys are so good. Always letting me know. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, so a couple questions for you. I get these questions a lot from people, so I know it may resonate with some of you. Do you ever feel like it's your job to just manifest better behavior out of someone rather than deal with them or tell them off or tell them how you really feel? A lot of times I get this from people. I'm dealing with someone that's stressful. I just want them to behave better so I don't have to be negative. Do you ever feel like you have to hold your tongue and not say what you think because doing that is talking about something low vibration and that's going to drag your vibration down? I get lots of kind of comments and questions about this. And so this is a super important thing to understand. I have to eradicate this from your consciousness today. It's just that important. It is not your job to be nice. It's not your job to be nice. It's your job to get into alignment. It's your job to get into vibrational alignment. Being nice and getting into vibrational alignment are two totally different things. Okay? And this is a super important thing to understand. Now, the reason why there is confusion about this topic is that when you learn about manifestation and the law of attraction, you learn about vibration and you hear that a high vibration is somebody who is joyous, who is kind, who is loving. You hear this, okay? So it becomes interpreted that it's your job to behave those ways all of the time. Now, here's the deal. If you're in a high vibration, you're not going to have to be nice. You will never have to try to be nice when you're in a high vibration. When you're in a high vibration, you're just going to be happy and loving and kind, and there's not going to be any trying involved. You're just happy, and it just shines on through you. So if at any point in time you feel like you have to be nice, it always means you are not in a high vibration. Okay? And so we need to talk about why it's okay for you to act a little unkind sometimes. And I want to give you guys lots of examples because this was something that took me some time to turn around. And I started to notice when I played with this that my manifestation got better and it got much easier for me to get into a high vibration when sometimes I was a little mean. Okay? Now, I'm not encouraging you guys to go out and just be jerks. That's not the point. What I want to teach you is understanding energetically where you are and making the best move that you can to get into alignment. And that thing is never being nice, okay? So we're going to prove that today. All right, nice to see all of you guys here. I see Happy Daisy is here. Luis is here, Cowlitz Bill is here, starting at 50 is here, Snow Sparkle, Picket Music, my lovely assistant Mary's here, Anna's here, Abundant Queen, thank you for this super sticker. I really do appreciate you. Thank you so much. And yes, if you guys have questions, please go ahead and drop them into the chat, because again, I'll be stopping to answer some of these as we go along. Nate the Great on Instagram asks, how do you know if you're in a high vibration? Okay, great question just to kick it off. So let's just answer that and put that on the table now. High vibration is a feeling state, okay? And there's a range of feeling. At the very, very top, okay, what we're looking at is the very high vibration. Things that represent the high vibration are, you're going to naturally feel like you're in a very good mood. You may feel euphoric. You may feel giddy. You will also feel very connected to everyone around you, okay? Because when you're in a high vibration, you're in that place of oneness. So what will happen is when you're in a high vibration, you're going to see the seas part a lot. So people will be opening doors for you. Traffic will be moving smoothly for you. People will just understand you. All right. Another thing that I noticed with a high vibration, and if you guys have experienced this, go ahead and let me know in the chat. When you're in a really high vibration, the way your reality looks changes. It becomes a lot brighter. It's like they turn up the saturation. The colors are brighter. Things just look more technicolor almost. Whereas when you're in a lower vibration, things look more drab, dreary. Okay. And then in addition to that, a high vibration state is a higher energy state. Okay. So you're going to find that you have a lot more get up and go, a lot more energy. Whereas if you're in a lower vibration, particularly a very low vibration, you're going to have a hard time, generating energy to do things. Okay. So let's just put that on the table as kind of what we're looking at here. All right. And your job, again, it's never to be nice. Okay. Being nice will actually prevent you from getting into the highest vibration. Your job is to get in the high vibration so that you can have that beautiful reality experience and just naturally be feeling good, things working out, and you'll just naturally be getting along with people because the seas are just parting for you. Okay? Hope that's clear. Okay? But yeah, go ahead and drop your questions in the chat if you have any. Let's jump in with the first point, and then I'm going to answer a couple more of these. Okay? All right. Here's why being nice is low vibration. Okay? It is disingenuous to how you feel. Okay? So when you're in a low vibration, let's say somebody's mean to you, something happens, and you don't feel good. When you are being nice, you are not acting in accordance with how you actually feel. You're pretending. I feel like garbage. That's how I feel. But I'm going to put a smile on and act like it's okay. So it's not that genuine state. Now, when you're in the naturally high vibration, you never need to put on the mask. You will just naturally be smiling. You will naturally be in a good mood. You do not have to put on an act. Now, you can see this in other people, by the way. So this person shall remain nameless. But there was a person I met not too long ago, and I saw this. And so it's a good example, and I'm sure you guys have seen this too. So I met this person, and it seemed like, she and I would be good friends, okay? It seemed like that at first. Very friendly, lots of smiling. But there was something just kind of off about it, okay? There was something kind of off about it. And the more I spent time with her, the more I realized that the niceness wasn't genuine. It was an act. Now, I don't know why it was an act. I don't know if she was just trying to kiss my butt, or if she just didn't know how to speak her feelings, or she was just pretending to be happy all the time. But have you ever been around someone like that, where they're smiling and friendly, but you can tell inside that it's not genuine? Now, when you see this in other people, it's very off-putting, right? It makes you want to get away from them. It makes you not want to be with them. Why? Because being nice is low vibration, and you naturally try to get away from low vibrational people. So just to put it out there, I do recommend that notice this in your reality. When you're talking to somebody, you can even do this like as a game to improve your knowledge of vibration, is to just accurately kind of assess how they're doing. Is this person genuinely happy, genuinely in a high vibration? Or is this person putting on a mask? Notice that when they're putting on the mask, it's always off-putting. You do not want to be around them. Why? Because it's low vibration. Being nice is low vibration. Now, by contrast, if you're around somebody and they're just having a great old time and you can tell that it's just genuine joy, there is no act, well, that person is a real joy to be around. You want to be by that person. And so when you have that feeling of this person is happy, but I want to be around them, that person's in a high vibration. Okay. So it's often easier to spot at first in other people. So I do recommend that you notice this in other people and realize that the same rule applies to you. Now, a lot of you have been taught to be nice. This is the problem, okay? So your parents taught you to shut your mouth, or if you didn't have anything nice to say, don't say anything. You were taught those things when you were young. Society has conditioned you to be nice and get along. And so there's lots of people that are being disingenuous to how they actually feel, and they're just being nice. But the problem is, not only is being nice disingenuous to your current vibration, it actually makes your current vibration worse. So I need to put this in here. Don't think that putting a smile on your face and masking how you feel is just keeping you stuck at the crummy feeling that you have right now. It actually makes your vibration worse. And that's why I really wanted to talk about this in today's video. So the next thing we're going to talk about is why putting on a nice face actually makes your vibration worse than it currently is. But first, let's do a little business and answer some questions. Oh, and I do have that sale coming up. If you guys haven't seen this yet, there will be a sale on my abundance programs that's going on this month from May 15th through May 22nd. So this is actually the largest sale in terms of the number of courses that I have on sale, because I have 6 programs and packages that go on sale at this time. And it's a range of different abundance type topics. So, sometimes people want to manifest things like how to get out of debt, or how to stay out of debt, or how to be able to save money without it always going out. We do have some programs that relate to that. Sometimes people want to learn how to attract more money through their career, or just how to attract money without having to work for it. And so I have quite a variety of abundance topics that are going to be on sale, and they are the largest sale for these programs all year long. So this is the only time you're going to see this sale. If you're interested in getting the coupon code when that sale goes live, you can check out the description. I do have links in YouTube and Facebook. I'm sure Mary's dropping in a link right now as well into the chat. On Instagram, the link to get the coupon code for that sale will be in the link tree in my bio. So make sure to check that out if attracting abundance is on your list of things to do. Let's answer some questions. Adrian says, wow, my friend and I were just talking about this topic yesterday. I was raised to be nice and put others first. I remember being told that if you're nice, people will like you. I mean, if you're in a high vibration and genuinely joyful, yeah, people will love to be around that. But if you are pretending to be nice, it will always give that fake nice vibe. And you'll actually find that people don't want to be around you. And you will notice this too. I'm sure some of you guys have experienced this before, where I'm being nice, I'm doing all the right things, I'm trying to be nice to my friends and do nice things for them, and they're not reciprocating, or they don't appreciate it, or they don't call me to do anything. Have you ever seen that? I know I sure did. I was raised on the be nice philosophy, and I would constantly be putting other people first and trying to be nice, and yet it had the exact opposite effect, because the niceness wasn't stemming from the high vibration. It was the be nice. So I was in a low vibration pretending. Okay. So that's the distinction. Thanks for bringing that up. Rainbow Traveling Yogi says, I've had people be nice, but I can tell they want to slit my throat with their gaze. So yeah, nice isn't always good. Yeah, we can interpret how each other feel. So we're all very sensitive to vibration. That's the thing. So we have language that we can use to say something, but you can tell if somebody's being genuine or not. That's why it's real important to behave in a genuine way for your vibration. This isn't to say that I want you guys hanging out in low vibration territory, and we're going to talk about how you get out of there. But you can't be pretending, because if you're pretending, everyone's going to know. And you know too, because it actually makes you feel worse. Courtney, great question. Is the opposite also true? Being mean, high vibration? No. Good question. Being mean is not a high vibration. Now, the reason why, again, when you're in a genuinely high vibration, you are going to feel joyous. So you're not going to feel like slitting anyone's throat. So you're just not going to be mean. However, sometimes a little bit of meanness actually moves you up. Okay? So meanness is a tool. It's a tool. This is not a hard and fast rule that just be mean and you'll be in a high vibration. Okay. And I got some more I'm going to talk about on that, but definitely glad to clear that up now. Don't just stop the video now and decide I'm going to be a jerk and have a high vibration. That's not how it works either. You have to understand the mechanism and what we're actually trying to accomplish. Danny, how about treating people the way you want to be treated? Well, it depends, right? Treat yourself the way you want to be treated, first and foremost, okay? This whole treat other people the way you want to be treated, it's the flip, it's the externalization of what's actually going on. If I'm nice to these people, then they're going to be nice back, okay? You're the one creating your reality. So you have to be in a high vibration in order to get treated the way you want to be treated. So it's more important that you treat yourself the way you want to be treated, because if you treat yourself the way you want to be treated, your vibration will rise and other people will rise to meet you. Don't externalize what's going on. See, you've all been taught this, okay? I'm going to change the external world and then things are going to be okay. It doesn't work that way. You have to change your internal state and then the external world will shift. So whenever we're trying to do something to manipulate a particular behavior out of somebody, we've forgotten what's going on. We're trying to change the external world rather than fixing our own vibration. Okay? So that's a common one. You know, in addition to if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. You're probably also told, treat people the way you want to be treated. Now, in an ideal world, that would be going on, but in an ideal world, you'd have a high vibration. Okay? Hope that makes sense. Okay. Moving right along. As somebody asked, is this the same topic as last week? It's simple. It's similar. But we're going a little deeper into the right here, because I didn't talk about this in specific, and you guys got to know this. Oh, one more question real quick, and then we'll move on to the next point here. Story you with Coach Debbie. Thank you for the super chat. She asked, I had to learn that being nice was not the same as genuine kindness. Could you help me understand the difference between vibration and frequency? They're essentially synonymous. Okay. Some people may make distinctions between the two, but they're essentially synonymous when we're talking about the spiritual realm. Okay. High frequency, high vibration. Good question. Yeah, and don't get too caught up in the semantics. Like a lot of people out there will get very technical with all this stuff. We're just using symbolism to help understand the mechanism that's going on. Okay. Good question. Okay. So like I mentioned a few minutes ago, not only is being nice an indication that you're in a low vibration, okay, it actually makes your vibration worse. So this is why I have to talk to you guys about this, because you've been taught to be nice And you think that being nice is going to put you into a high vibration, which it won't. Okay. But you don't understand, actually makes your vibration worse. Okay. So here's why. All right. And maybe if you think way, way back to before you knew anything about the law of attraction, you'll make the connection. All right. If you're in a bad mood, okay, and you have this belief that I have to be nice, what you're doing, again, is you're putting on a mask. But at the same time, you'll find yourself shaming yourself and guilting yourself for feeling the way that you do. And this is super common for all my friends here that understand the law of attraction. They know that the higher vibration is where I want to be, so I'm not there. And now I feel bad for having these negative thoughts. I should be more high vibration than this. I shouldn't be thinking this way. I shouldn't be having these negative feelings. So not only did something happen and you're feeling bad about it, but when you be nice, when you act nice, when you don't feel good, you slap a layer of guilt on top of what's going on. So I already feel crummy because I didn't get along well with my friend today. And now I feel worse because I feel guilty because I didn't get along with my friend today. You see? Now, I can think way, way back because way, way back before I understood about the law of attraction, I wasn't a positive person at all. I believed in being pessimistic. I believed in being aggressive and mean when I was younger. Okay? And I noticed, this is one of the reasons I'm pointing this out, is that I noticed that as I was learning about the law of attraction, I was kind of falling into this trap where when I didn't feel good, I was pretending to feel good. But then I didn't feel good. I felt worse because I felt guilty. And I'm like, you know what? Back when I was really low vibration, I didn't feel bad about being mean. I was just mean. So in the moment I had a low vibration and I was mean, but I didn't feel worse because I wasn't slapping guilt on top of the feeling. So this is where we kind of get into when to be mean. Because somebody asked, does this just mean being mean is a high vibration? No, it's not. But vibration is on kind of on a scale. You have your highest vibration up here, kind of in the joy realm. And you're kind of pleasant, feeling good, feeling okay, feeling a little uneasy, feeling not so great, feeling mad, feeling depressed. Like there's this scale that goes on. Okay. When you can tell that you are upset, something's going on, you are not in a good mood, it is a much better move to do something that makes you feel empowered in the moment rather than disempowered. And that may come across as being mean. Okay. So let me give you a few examples. Let's say that, you're talking to somebody for the first time. Maybe you're going out on a date with someone new, okay? And they say something kind of not so nice, or they kind of push your boundaries a little bit. And in your mind, you're thinking, why would you talk to me like that? Well, I know as women, a lot of times we're just taught to be friendly, okay, ha, 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 and not really say anything. But you feel bad, and now you feel guilty when you act nice. In a situation like that, it's better to just check the person right away. Why are you talking to me like that? What's wrong with you? Now, that's not nice. It's a little bit confrontational, but in the moment, it makes you feel a little bit more empowered. So I actually do encourage you guys to use meanness when you need to for the purpose of raising your vibration. I don't mean you got to go walking into your gym with a gun tomorrow. Okay, that's not what we're talking about. But when you're in a situation where you're feeling somewhat disempowered, it can help to just say what you mean and put it out there. Now, the reason why is that we're talking a little bit about vibration. The lowest of the low for vibration is that depressed state. Okay, so when you're very, very depressed, that is the lowest state. So it's very hard for you to get out of bed. You're very sad, very low energy. Now, above that is anger, okay? Now, a lot of times we don't like to think about anger as being a good thing because when we see angry people, they are not in the highest vibration and it can be unpleasant for us to be around. However, for you personally, okay, it is better for you to be in a state of anger than in a state of depression. And so if speaking out or doing what you need to do for you or telling somebody off is going to put you in a higher vibration, then you're using meanness appropriately. It is genuine to how you feel. It doesn't make you feel guilty about what's going on, and it raises your vibration. I will add a caveat. This is not about being angry all the time. Okay? Okay? So again, knowing how to behave, quote unquote, is about understanding. Again, it's not your job to be nice, it's your job to raise your vibration. So if I got to speak up right now to feel a little bit better, I just moved up the vibration scale. My reality is going to start to get a little bit better. If I want to continue to move up the vibrational scale, it would benefit me not to spend too much time dwelling and worrying about this, but just pop off about it and move on. Go do something else I'd rather do. That way you don't get stuck in anger. So I am going to mention this. This isn't about getting stuck in anger and just going on a tirade for hours and hours and hours. No, 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 no. We want to get you back in the high vibration. But understand, sometimes a little meanness is the bridge you need to get from the low to the high. And that's okay. That's okay. Now, I've noticed this personally, where sometimes maybe something hasn't been going so well in my life. This is another application, by the way, because I want to give you guys a few applications to help you out. I'll think of an example in specific here. So yeah, so I think back there a time where my business wasn't going so well. Okay. Sales had kind of slowed, things weren't working out, and I wasn't feeling good about my business. That's how I felt. I felt disempowered about it, but I didn't want to say anything. I wanted to act like everything was okay. I didn't want to be negative. So I kept my mouth shut. I kept my mouth shut. And in doing that, I noticed that business actually got worse, worse, worse. Why? Because I was throwing guilt on top of the feeling of not feeling good. So I noticed that in situations like this, it's actually better if I can notice that this isn't going very well, I'm feeling disempowered. It's actually better for me to say how I feel. So if my husband comes home and asks me how my day is, and I've been feeling like things aren't going so well, it's better for me to say, you know what, it just wasn't that great of a day, and I wish it had gone better, and being genuine to how I feel, because now I don't have that guilt that's slapped on top of it. And it was a funny thing because the first time I did this, I noticed a very quick turnaround. Okay, so I went from having kind of these slow sales, things weren't going well, and I was trying to shut up about it. And then finally, I'm like, you know what? Let me just tell my husband, this is the way it is. I'm not very happy about it. And he said some encouraging words, and I felt a little bit better. And then the next time I checked my computer, I had some sales. Okay. And so I'm mentioning this because, again, a lot of times in this community, people feel like they have to shut up and keep their opinions to themselves or not say how they feel, but that actually compounds the not feeling good. When you allow yourself to speak, what you're saying to the universe is, my feelings are valid. I accept how I feel. I'm worthy of expressing how I feel. I'm a good person. I can say whatever I want. And that's more empowering. So it lifts your vibration and you start to manifest better results. Okay. So yes, meanness can be helpful. Again, this is not about jumping from one end to the next. We're not just going to be mean all the time. We're not just going to be nice all the time. Your objective is, how do I feel? Based on how I feel, what do I have to do to feel better? Sometimes telling somebody off is going to make you feel better. And by the way, in a situation like that, who cares? I get so many questions from people that they've got some toxic friend or toxic parent who's just being so mean to them, and they don't feel justified to just speak up. Can you not see how disempowering that is for that person? Okay. So give yourself permission to feel how you feel. That's the best thing you can do to help raise your vibration on a regular basis. On Instagram, I am Lily Rain says, hello, Andrea. I manifested my last long-term relationship, but then he left after a few years and told everyone it was not my fault. I am now scared to try to manifest another relationship. Help. Maybe ease in. ease in. Instead of trying to manifest another relationship, I might just try, let me manifest some people to talk to, or let me just manifest some fun encounters. Because when there's something that's big, okay, and something happens and you stop, okay, because that's kind of what happened. I had this relationship, it didn't go the way I went, and now I'm like, oh, I can't do that. And I just kind of sit down. You're going to stay energetically where you are, and it is going to feel scary to go for the big thing, okay? So instead of asking for a big relationship, just try to get the energy moving in that direction. Maybe manifest a couple new guys just to talk to, or maybe a guy to flirt with me. Just see if you can manifest on that level, because it'll start to get your hopes in a better direction. Oh, I can do this. This isn't so scary. And then you reach a little higher. Maybe I get a first date. Maybe I can get some guy to text me. Let it go that way. Okay? You're just kind of in that inert state where you're just kind of stuck. Just start to move it slowly and it will build up momentum. Good question. Dark Blue Nutrition asks, advice for growing an authentic audience on YouTube. I've had slow and steady growth over the years. I feel like I expect it takes a long time to grow a channel and a business, and I often play small. Yeah, so, and this is common when people want to grow a business or they want to grow a following. Because you don't see a million overnight, you're sitting there telling yourself this is small. Instead, what you want to flip it and notice this has been big. Look how many people have followed me. Look how many people tune in. Okay? Instead of, and because we have these algorithms out there, when you guys are scrolling on your phones, you're seeing like the biggest channels. Okay? That's what's going on. So if you have your own channel and it doesn't have millions of views, you're comparing yourself to these mammoth channels. What you have to understand is for like every one of those mammoth channels, there's like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of smaller channels with less subscribers than you. It might be beneficial for you to look at the average channel size. It'll help you understand that you're doing a lot better than you think. And that's what you want to be doing, is noticing that you're doing very well. Because that becomes the tune that you start to speak, is that I'm doing very well. I have a lot of subscribers, a lot more than most people have. Okay, now you're putting out the vibration of I've had a lot of growth. I'm doing very well, and that allows you to attract more. But if you compare yourself to the businesses or the YouTube channels that are doing much better, quote unquote, than you, you're going to feel like I'm not doing that good. This is going slow, and that will slow down the experience for you. Okay, hope that's helpful. Oh, there we go. This is a great way of putting it. Yeah, Cal. Frequency is measured in hertz. It's true. It's a scientific term. Whereas vibration is a spiritual feeling. Yes, other than that, they represent the same. Great. Thank you. John NTN. What about empathy and friendliness? Only if they're genuine. Okay, so here's the thing. You can't make yourself be empathetic. Have you ever been in a bad mood? I know you have. When you're in a bad mood, you don't want to hear anybody. You don't care about how other people think. You know, if I was in a terrible mood, I could become a terrible driver, cutting people off, being rude, zero empathy, okay? Because my vibration is low. So you can't make yourself be empathetic, and you also can't make yourself be friendly. If you're trying to do either of those things, again, it means you're in a lower vibration and you're actively making your vibration lower by putting on an act, okay? The only way that you're gonna have true empathy and friendliness is if you're in a high vibration. So the job is not to be nice to get in the high vibration. The job is get in a high vibration by any means necessary. Yes, sometimes that even means kind of being rude. But when you're in the high vibration, you will be naturally empathetic and friendly. You will not have to try. You will not have to fabricate it. Okay? So this whole conversation is about not putting the cart before the horse. You cannot make yourself be nice. If you try to be nice, it comes across as fake. If you try to be nice, it's going to screw up your whole reality. Okay? Just get in a high vibration. Okay? Yeah, I gotta make another couple points here before I answer any more of these. Hold on a second. Make sure I got time for all this. Okay. So again, we're talking about being nice is low vibration. And I talked a little bit for a moment ago about how, first of all, being nice when you don't feel good is inauthentic, right? So it's invalidating how you feel. So when you pretend to be nice, you lower your vibration because you feel guilty for feeling the way that you feel. You're trying to be a high vibe person and you're not in that moment. Better to just accept it and do what you can to move up the scale. Here's the next thing to understand. Allowing yourself to be authentic about how you feel is a state of detachment. Okay? We talk about detachment and letting go, right? Always talking about detachment and letting go and how that's very important for manifestation. So I know you guys understand this, right? Well, when you're being nice, you're not detached. You're not letting go. You're actually trying to control outcomes. You see? I'm sure you guys have met people like this again. You meet the fake nice person, and it's all just an act to try to get you to act the way they want you to act because they're being controlling. Being nice is an act of being controlling. In order to be a good manifester, you have to detach and let go. So if you're not in a good mood, I'm trying to be in a good mood, but I'm not, you know what? F it. I'm not in a good mood right now. Tell this person what I really think and move on. You let go. You actually let go of the low vibration by making peace with it. Does that make sense? Okay. So this is why, you can see people out there. Sometimes you may see people acting like this, where they mouth off for a second or they say how they really feel. And don't you have this sense of, wow, admiration for the person? Like, wow, good for her, good for him. Again, we feed off of each other's energy. When a person acts like that, they don't care. They don't need things to work out. They're just saying it how it is. And that's a higher vibrational state. So this being genuine to how you feel thing is actually a state of detachment. Instead of, again, beating up on yourself for feeling how you feel and trying to control your vibration, you're basically saying, F it, I am where I am. You let go, you detach. Now your vibration can rise. So I wanted to make sure to tie that in as well, because everyone's trying to just be nice. No. Trying to be nice is a state of attachment. Very important thing to understand. Was I friends with Ellen DeGeneres? What? I'll get another super here. Thank you, Louise. Appreciate you. Louise says, an example you've given in the past, a certain president who presents himself as he is rude and tough, virtues and flaws, and not the typical hypocritical, backstabbing politician who's smiling all the time. Okay. And I'm not going to make any kind of political statement here on him, but I would say he is a good example of not giving an F. Okay. And that's one of the reasons that some people really do like him, is because of that attitude. Okay. So it's something to think about. And he gets a lot of stuff that he wants. Not saying you got to go that far with it, but it helps to kind of notice what's going on in your reality, what works versus what doesn't. Oh, that's a good point. Our family adventure says, I think the reason we try to be nice and put on a must, we just care too much how we are perceived. Yeah, that's a great point. I wasn't even going to talk about that, but that's a really great point. And again, that's putting the cart before the horse. If I'm trying to be nice to get other people's approval, that's a lot of times what's going on. And again, that's trying to manipulate the external reality to get the result that we want. When you don't care about being nice, you just be who you are. If they like it, they like it. They don't, they don't. Who cares? Now you're being nice to yourself. You feel better, and now they like you more. And I'll tell you what. Somebody asked a question about the YouTube channel earlier. One thing I did notice too, so another add-on to the YouTube channel, when I stopped making content that was just like, let me try to please everybody and say it in the right way and not mention things that I think people might not like, I had slower growth. Then I started talking about things like my prior drug addiction or problems I had with my husband. And I'm not saying you need to tell everybody everything, but I started being more genuine and letting the words flow and F it if you like it, F it if you don't. And I noticed more people responded well to that because I didn't care as much if you guys cared. I just was being genuine to myself. So it's a very important thing to understand. Yeah, when we try to make people like us, we inadvertently push them away. Okay. Got to talk about this. And you may have heard me talk about this before in the lives because so many people write in with this question. Ooh. And it stems back to this be nice shenanigans. Andrea, my mom's having a problem with XYZ. Help me manifest a positive result for her. Andrea, my child's having a problem with this. How can I help them make it work? Okay. How can I get good things for my friends? Okay. Now, that's kind of stemming from the same thing. Being nice. Trying to be nice, trying to solve other people's problems, trying to get people out of a bind, trying to help them out of a jam. And a lot of times when you guys are being nice, you're doing this in many ways. You're giving people money, you're giving them second chances, you're letting them stay over, you're doing all this stuff to try to be nice to help people. Here's the problem. When you're doing this, you're assuming people need something from you. You're assuming that they have problems. You're assuming they need you to solve their problems. That's the problem because your reality reflects what you're putting out. So if you see somebody in your reality and you say, oh, they're really struggling. I need to be nice and take care of them. I need to be nice to them and work around their feelings. I need to walk on eggshells around this person. The minute you start to do that, what you put on that person is this person has a problem. This person has issues. And now because that's what you're saying through your nice behavior, they stay rooted in those issues. The person who needs you to walk on eggshells needs you to walk on eggshells even more. The person that needs you to give them money now needs you to give them money all the time. Why? Not because they can't solve it themselves. They can. They have access to the law of attraction, just like you do. The reason why it gets worse is because through my nice behavior, I'm saying to the universe, this person needs something from me. I can't just be myself around this person. I have to give them money or help them or solve their problems. And so I actively create more drama with that person in my life. Okay. So this whole be nice thing is real racket. Okay. I hope I'm making that point today. I want you guys to be more genuine to how you actually feel. You're going to get much better results when you do. And it's not about not caring about people. It's about understanding that they don't need you. They are powerful. They can do it. When you put that on people, then they do. They rise to the challenge. Oh, John, okay, let's answer another one of John's here because I really like this question here. My partner often feels guilty, triggered on what I say. She prefers I am more sensitive to her feelings, even as we just started speaking. How to deal with this? Thanks. Okay, so this is a perfect example of what I just said. Okay, if I identify that this person is too sensitive and I need to walk on eggshells, she will become more sensitive and more sensitive. She will need you to tap dance around her more and more and more. Remember, put yourself first. Love yourself first. If that way of acting with her feels disingenuous to her, feels disingenuous to you, act in the way that is genuine to yourself. Be who you are. What you will notice is that they will work around that. They will come to accept you as that. Have you ever noticed that? Like if someone just is who nobody expects them to do anything anymore because they're not going to bend over and do what the other person wants all the time. So they just start to accept you for you. Here's a case. Okay, I'll give you a personal example. I'm like somewhat introverted, actually quite a bit introverted and a little bit extroverted. So I like to go to parties, but I don't like to stay for that long. And I absolutely hate saying goodbye to people at parties because then everyone's like, oh, you're leaving, you should just stay. And I got to talk to everyone and I can't just leave. So I have a rude, not nice behavior, which is that if I'm at a party, 9 times out of 10, I'm just going to up and leave whenever the heck I want. I don't say goodbye to anybody. I know this is completely rude by everybody else's definition and I don't care. I need to go home. I need to raise my vibration. It is what it is. Okay. Now, my current group of friends, when I first met them, it was probably like 7 years ago now, some of them were kind of put off by that. You didn't say goodbye. It was so rude. But I stayed true to it. That's how I feel. That's how I do things. You don't like it, you don't like it. And now it's just this running joke. Like they think it's funny now. Oh, Andrea disappeared again. Haha. They don't get mad about it anymore. Because I didn't bend how I wanted to behave. I just acted the way I wanted. They adjusted. Okay? Got to do that. Ken asks, can being in an entitled mindset help speed up manifesting? If you say to the universe, this is what I'm entitled to, give it to me or leave me alone, is this helpful? Yes and no. Okay. Entitled, yes. But think of entitled more as just a general attitude more than directing it towards specific things. I want you to feel like you are king of the universe all the time. So the king of the universe feels entitled. He doesn't need to beg. He doesn't need to issue a bunch of ultimatums. He feels entitled to the money. He feels entitled to the status. He feels entitled to the privilege. He feels that way. And because he feels entitled, things just come to him. If you start issuing demands on the universe, I need this to come tomorrow or else, okay, more often than not, that isn't going to work, okay? Because, again, when you're in the high vibration, things just naturally work out for you. If you're having to try and force the outcome, it means that you feel like you're out of control. So in my opinion, the best way to go about manifesting is just throw the things out there that I want this, I want this, I want this, and drill it into your mind that you are the royal authority of your world. Act that way, think that way, talk about yourself that way, so that you naturally feel entitled. Okay? Now, when you feel that way, things are just going to come to you. Hope that makes sense. If you guys haven't yet, please make sure to subscribe. Okay, I do these videos usually twice a week, and I do them on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. So again, subscribe to me on YouTube, follow me on Facebook and Instagram. And also, especially on YouTube, make sure to hit the notification bell so that you are notified as soon as I go live, even if I go live on a different day. In addition to that, for those of you who haven't yet, please make sure to take my manifesting test if you want to prove to yourself that you are the creator of your own reality. It is a free test. It only takes 5 minutes, and it will allow you to put something out and watch it come back so that you know you're the one creating all this stuff. Okay, and you can do whatever it is that you want. You can take that test at manifestingtest.com. Again, that's manifestingtest.com. The links will be in the descriptions on Facebook and on YouTube. On Instagram, the link will be in the link tree in my bio. Let's grab another question here. Oh, here's this Ellen DeGeneres. Senor Moore kiddingly asked if your friend was Ellen DeGeneres because she was nice on camera but not so much off camera. She lost a lot of fans. Well, you know, I don't follow Ellen DeGeneres news, but that would be a perfect example of this, wouldn't it? And you hear about that sometime with celebrities where they have that nice persona, but it's kind of an act. Yeah, and people don't like that. Eddie disappears at parties too. It's a mean little thing I do to raise my vibration. Not nice, but it works. Dominique says, this is so true. If I act in a way that feels genuine to me rather than how I think the person wants me to act, I get much better responses and treatments from others. It's very true. If you haven't tried it, guys, you need to try it. Okay? Be genuine, and you'll notice that the world will shift to accept you as you are. When you're being nice, you will notice that the world will shift, make you feel bad about who you are. Because in that moment, you feel bad about who you are. So that's what you're projecting on your reality when you try to be nice. Okay? Useless thing to do. Once you figure this one out, oh my gosh, life gets so much easier. Paula says it's called the Irish exit. Yeah, my friends call it the Irish goodbye. Yeah. I don't know. Is that an unkind thing to say? I don't know. That's what they call it. So that's what I'm used to hearing. Cowlitz Bill says, I bought a large antique globe. I have it in my bedroom. Every morning I admire it first thing to remind myself that I am the king, queen, ruler of my world. That's a good idea. Yeah, for getting into that royal entitled vibration is a visual reminder. I never thought about doing something like that. Maybe like a crown or like a globe or something like that, that you look at it and you remind yourself, I'm the one in charge. Shop for You 756 on Instagram says, you're right, I'm always nice, and it doesn't get you in the right place. It doesn't. It doesn't. It lowers your vibration. It doesn't raise it. So important to understand. Okay, this is a good question too. Definitely need to answer this. Okay, I am Lily Rain asks, I often feel bad after showing my anger at someone who was rude to me. I'm often justified in my being rude back, but still feel guilty afterwards. What to do about that, please? Okay, that's a great question, because the guilt can also come afterwards if you don't really understand kind of what's going on here. Okay? I had to be rude. My hand was forced. I had to be rude because the only way I benefit the world and this person is for me to raise my vibration. I had to be. If I had been nice, I would have made reality worse for me and them, because my vibration would have gone down. See, I was already in a not so good vibration. That's why I attracted this jerk to me in the first place. By me saying what I felt and raising my vibration, I actually made life better for me and him, because he's a part of my world, and my world improves when my vibration goes up. You get it? If you did it the other way, it would make it worse for them. Okay? Think about that. Because we don't want the guilt thing. We don't want to deal with the guilt thing. Yeah, I'm all for the Irish goodbye. What are we saying goodbye for? We don't need to say it. I'm just going. You don't want me around. I'm tired. I don't want to be here. I'm going to go home. Okay, so I don't feel guilty about that. The perfect example, someone just asked not to feel guilty. I don't feel bad about the Irish goodbye. If you're Irish and taking offense to this, I'm sorry. But I don't feel bad about it because if I stayed, I'm just going to make your party worse. I'm tired. I'm ready to go. Do you really want me to have some forced goodbye where I'm not very happy to see you? I'm just going to make you feel worse and ruin the vibe of your party. I'm doing your party a favor by getting me in my bad mood out of here. That's what I tell myself, so I don't feel guilty. Okay. Randall J05. I stopped going to family functions and holidays because it was purely out of obligation. Instant vibration raiser. Excellent suggestion. You guys, if you have good relationships with your family, by all means, go to all the functions. If you have a good relationship and you want to see them. If you do not, stop going. You are grown adults, okay? If you don't want to go and going lowers your vibration, guess what? It's just going to be a mess. It's going to be a terrible family function. They're going to feel worse. You're going to feel worse. You're doing yourself and them a favor by not going. If you like your family, go. If you don't, don't. If you like your family, but that day you're in a bad mood and you don't want to go, don't go. Again, that's mean. That's not being nice, but it's going to raise your vibration. Okay? Very, very important. Fly asks, hi, Andrea. My manager didn't give me a raise after working 1.5 years. She gave a raise to people in 8 months and gave me a market reason for this. In spite of performing well, what should I do? Ooh. Well, it's hard for me to know exactly what's going on here. But I think, yeah, if you're waiting around for it, I'd stop waiting for it. Pick a different plan. Sometimes it helps in a situation like this, go find another job. I've seen people have success with this. Like if they're being underappreciated at their current job, just go look for another one. You may find that you have easy success somewhere else. And I've seen this a bunch of times, you may find that you get another job offer, you come back and tell your current job what's going on, and they say, oh, we don't want to lose you. Let's give you a raise now. Because you've let go of trying to get that job. You know you want to make more money, go get more money. Don't need it to come from them. I don't need them, okay? That will help. Paula says, here we have the Southern goodbye. You have to spend an extra hour hugging everyone's neck. Yeah, I don't do that. I don't care how South it is here. I'm not doing that. Absolutely not. All right, guys, another reminder. I do have, again, that abundance sale is going on in a couple weeks. If you've been looking at any of my abundance packages and want to get them at their lowest price ever, please make sure to go ahead and sign up for the notifications and the discount code when it goes live. So the link for that will be in the description of this video. On Instagram, the link will be in the link tree of my bio, but it's for all different abundance related topics. A lot of people want to learn how to get out of debt with the law of attraction, or they want to learn how to just manifest money from the sky, or get more money through their work, or let go of limiting blocks revolving around money. Lots of different topics are addressed on these different programs. So again, that sale will be live May 15th through the 22nd. If you're interested, go ahead and sign up. Also, if you have not yet, please make sure to take my manifesting test like I mentioned earlier. It is free, it is 5 minutes, and it will allow you to put something out and watch it come back so that you know with certainty that you are the creator of your reality. You don't have to take my word for the law of attraction being real. You can see with your own two eyes that it actually is the way that things work. In addition to that, I do plan on being back on Sunday. If I am here, you know me, if I feel like being mean and taking the day off, I might not. But it has nothing to do with you guys. Another perfect example. If I don't show up for one of these videos, it's not because I don't like you guys. It's because in that moment, my vibration isn't right for this work. Okay. So it's never anything personal. It just means that I know it's not the right time. Only be doing things when they're at the right time for you. That's how you get your vibration in the right realm. So even if I'm mean and don't show up when I said I was going to, it's because it's raising my vibration. Ultimately, it helps you and me. That's the whole point. Okay. Hopefully, I've drilled this into your head. Stop being so nice. Okay. But that is going to do it for today. Thanks, guys, for showing up, for all the great questions, for the supers. Of course, I look forward to talking to you guys again very soon.